We gotta rush them. We gotta kick them. What we gotta do is get in and get the. All right, let's go. Come on now. Hey, we'll put the bass on.
Well, people, here we are again, and back in the situation that we have found ourselves over and over again, and that is loss, of course, but the injury. And I just got my shirt in the mail, my number 44, and what do I get? I get a horrible injury. But you know what? This team is on the rise, and especially with this quarterback, Jackson Dart. My hat's off to Jackson. Didn't throw any picks. All right. I'm thinking that Abdul Carter was not out on the field. I didn't get to see all of the game. So that might have been one of the reasons why, between that and Shane Bowen's inability to put together a defense based on what it is he has. And, you know, I'm going to say realistically, there are injuries in the secondary that will have affected the way that the game is going to be played, in a way pieces in the defense are going to be utilized. So that's pretty clear. All right. I'm so damn sad that this young man has got to go through this injury. And again, it brings up the issue for a lot of people that know the fact that this is a AstroTurf stadium, on whether or not there is some real data to back up the idea that whether it's the method of construction with this particular place, that it has lent itself to injuries to players. And in this case, for this year, two very key and important players. When you jump in the air and land on this turf, and if you don't land just perfectly right, could be a problem. And of course, there's also issues of taping and what the equipment people are doing. But the main question is this turf giving an unusual amount of injuries to New York Giant players? I tend to lean towards a 60-40 thing on this, with 60% of it is yes. That's what's happening. So it's something that we're going to have to hopefully be able to digest. I'm going to say it like this. The football gods are against these 3 or 4 people. First of all, they're against Joe Schoen. They're against Brian Daboll. They're against Shane Bowen now. And they're against the overall staff, coaches that are on the New York Football Giants. There may be a few here in specialty areas that are worth looking at with a new regime. Well, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is that we now have a guy that could be a franchise quarterback, but we don't have the right team leading him. We need a new, clean team of coaches, of leadership, and of the GM itself to give the Giants the direction that would be befitting of these players we have. You know, Joe Schoen, you might be good as being a guy who's on the scouting team where you say these players. But to have the whole mantle of GM, I don't think it's the answer. And it's certainly, and I'll keep saying it, I know your guys are tired of me saying it. They're probably saying it out there as you watch this, the Saquon deal. Yeah. But I mean, the Saquon deal is horrible. Horrible. And I talked to a Cowboy guy the other day. I'm surrounded by Cowboys since I live in Texas. And they say, well, you know, same thing with our guy, Michael Parsons. Same thing with that guy. No, not the same game. He's not in your division, and you got a Pro Bowl player, and I think you got at least 1 or 2 draft picks out of this. So, I mean, this is like GM 101, and this guy doesn't do it. That's why, and of course, I might as well keep saying it, maybe the football gods will bless us, and we'll get Louis Riddick as the GM. And if we can't get Louis as the GM, that'd be my number 1 pick. I think the guy's ready and good to go. He did interview for the job before Joe Schoen with the Giants. The other guy would be the combo that I mentioned before. Michael Strahan, the experience the man has. He's still in football on the OT and all the stuff and the connections that he has. The guy can know and assess talent. And from a guy who's got Super Bowl rings and the gravitas of the New York Giants behind him, along with a co-manager, the great Tom Coughlin. And somebody said to me the other day, Tom Coughlin is still associated with the Jaguars in some way, and that may be true. But maybe we could pull him away to come back home and be with us. Again, I like the idea of Spagnuolo coming in and being a head coach for the first time in his career after a long and illustrious career as a defensive-minded coach. I think he has enough of a seasoning through all these years that he's the kind of guy that's realistic enough to say, you know what, I'm going to get this guy for offense, but he's going to be an aggressive guy for offense, and he's going to fit into a certain framework. And Coach Reed is one of the greatest callers of games. If we could get that type of new leadership in the building, I think it'll be a game changer for us on a real way. We got a problem. Where's Dak going? Dak has got a great arm, and he's got two. This guy right now, the way they're playing, even with the loss against Denver, the way that offense can click. They're the type of team that could go on a late surge if maybe some of the injury guys that they got get back. They shuffle some stuff around and make some changes. The team, I hate to say it makes me sick to say it, but they're looking good. And the only thing that's hurting Washington is the fact that the kid got hurt. But I predicted this was going to happen. He's a slim-built dude, and you start taking those hits, you start finding out what the NFL is. You know, they have a thing in wrestling where they call guys who come in to fight the main guys jobbers and shit like that. You got a shit ton of dudes that are in the NFL that are jobbers. They got 2 baby mamas. They're 7, 8 years in the career. They suffered a few bad injuries. They're not making, on scale of the superstars, the kind of money they're making, and they're pissed off. And they're looking to line somebody up, 247 pounds of steel ready to smash this guy who came in, has got the big grin on his face, and he's throwing the. Come on, man. Nothing against any of those positions, but those positions are the Cinderella positions. And eventually, you're going to get hit, no matter how many crazy things they do. And let's talk about crazy. Let's talk about the bad call with Jalen Hurts when he actually got the ball taken from him and he wasn't completely on the ground. All right? And the whole tush-push bullshit. All right? And the fact that now they're breaking it down and you're seeing when you put that camera right on that line that the Eagles offensive line is jumping in order to make this work. All right? So it might be time for the tush-push to go. And you guys have to do something different. All right? And with a great running back like Saquon, I mean, shit. Come on. Cut the shit. All right? Hats off to Saquon. What he wasn't able to do in the first game, he got done in the second game. But reality says that if we don't get the devastating injury to Skattebo, maybe a couple other things happen, this game could have been a closer game, even with the yardage that Saquon got. There's a group of people out there that want to see Coach Gruden come in and be the new coach of the Giants. That would probably be my third pick, or a strong 2B, 2A, 2B. But I'm a big fan of Brian Flores' defense. But Gruden, Gruden is Gruden. Chucky gonna come in there. He's gonna shake some shit up. It's gonna be on. It's gonna be really interesting. And if you have not seen it, I'll say it again to y'all. If you haven't seen it, he does an interview with the Coach Gruden's quarterback club about 5 or 6 months ago with Jackson Dart. That was very entertaining. It's about 54 to 59 minutes long. You can find it on YouTube, and it is hysterical because he's going, what the fuck do you call that, when he starts trying to take on a Mike linebacker. So Jackson's got a few things to learn and things to do. You know, I cheers to my guy Skattebo. Cam, get well quickly, and come back stronger than ever, mentally, physically, spiritually, and hopefully John Mara will wake up and get you a new crew, because I think this group is done. All right, I think we could say that. All right, so here's to you, Cam. Get well, and to the rest of the big blue guys out there, Malik, people that are hurting, that are maybe on injured reserve, whatever the case may be, to the whole team, salute. You're working hard, you're playing hard. Too bad you don't have a coaching staff to help you. But I love you. We love you. The pre-Monday Night Football first beer of the day. Woo! Anyway, we got work to do, and that work begins in the front office. Let's get something done here. Let's get this bum, Joe Shane, out there, and let's get a guy that's not going to run into the concussion tent and do all these antics, because you're in trouble. You're at the end. You may never get a head coaching job again. That's what happens to some of these guys. And what's interesting is that when you look around the league at the different teams that have guys that were head coaches, whether it's Coach Schumer, that's over there with those other dudes. I saw him the other day standing on the sideline. Was it? I don't know. I don't remember. He came from Minnesota, you know, to Pittsburgh. Has the guy that was the head coach at Atlanta. I think they learned some very important things. And the biggest question that I wonder about any of those guys, if I could talk to them, is, did you bite off more than you could chew? In some cases, I think that they just weren't ready, but they could be ready in the future. And in other cases, they bit off more than they could chew. And in Dable's case, it feels like he bit off more than he can chew. Although looking at him, you wouldn't believe that, right? Insert fat joke here. Whatever, all right? I've had it looking at this fucking guy, and I want to see us recover into what will be the next season. Because essentially, they're going to fight. I know the team's going to fight. But John Mara, Steve Tisch, you guys have to replace the GM and the whole coaching staff and get us something new. And by the way, for the people in New York, WFAN, and that one dude on there that cracked wise, there's BT and the other dude. One of them cracked wise to Carl Banks. That's a no-go, but their opinion and the kind of intense New York style opinion is there, and I would tell you to go and check out that show. Hats off to Chuck Knox, my dude that makes some really great videos. Out of everybody I watch, you remind me of myself, of standing by the TV and cursing at it when things don't go well. And I love your videos. Chat Sports, man, you got the data and you're right on top of things. Really like that. If you guys, wanting to see a guy that's going to put together some data points, really like that. There's a young lady, Locked In Sports. Can't think of her name, but she is passionate about the New York Football Giants. I think she's a Jersey girl. She feels like a Jersey girl the way she talks. All these different people out there. Believe with Carl Banks and Bob Papa. It's a great show. And you take all these pieces together and you start to see that we're all leaning in the same direction. Joe Shane, get the fuck out and take your boy Brian with him. And Shane, I'm ready to drop Shane right now. But hey, we got to finish it out. I know that Mara is the type of guy, he'll let you finish, generally speaking, even although anything is possible. You know, the New York sports papers, you know, the Daily News and the Post, and those guys, they were saying that he could get fired at any time. I don't know. But the guy you need to fire first is Joe Shane. So there it is. We lost the game. We got San Francisco coming up at home. I feel like if we could tighten some things up, Frisco's got some issues. It could be a much closer game than what we know. Thank God Gano, our kicker, is back doing something. I think you should still look for another kicker to back him up. Want to see my brother Daniel Bellinger out there more. And if Bellinger was the guy that you were throwing that long drop pass, that Jackson Dart did such a beautiful drop pass right into Theo Johnson's hands and he dropped it. Or what about Slay dropping these passes? This is bullshit. All right? And get Juice Wells out there, man. We ain't got nothing to lose. Get Juice Wells out there. And again, I apologize. The young man, number 89, came in and off the practice squad. You know, and I want to see if we can do anything with Ray McLeod. All right, let's do something that can get this offense firing up, and we need to also make some adjustments in defense and how we cover certain teams. Our schedule is the hardest schedule, and it's not going to get any easier. So it is what it is. But until then, to the next time, you know what it is. Go Big Blue. Let's go New York Football Giants. Deuces.